How's it going, everyone? It's David here, and I am here building yet another Nanocoaster from Coaster Dynamix. And in this episode, I will be building this, the Lightning Racer Nanocoaster from Hersheypark. I'm looking forward to building this. Not only is this a guilty pleasure ride of mine, it's one of my favorite GCIs, but also it is a dual track coaster, which I've never built before in one of these nano coasters, so it should be interesting. Now, Lightning Racer is a wooden roller coaster, but all these Coaster Dynamic models are made of steel. But regardless, they look really cool. And yes, I'm going to be building this with you guys, but before we start, let's quickly go over the tools that I will be using. Okay, so here are the tools that I will be using. I have a pair of micro precision scissors, the cap of a pen, a mini flashlight to help see some hard to reach places, as well as a rag in case your hands get sweaty or if you have any residue sticking to your hands to help wipe it off. Alright, without further ado, let's open up the box. Okay, so this is what came inside of the box. First is the base, has the protective coating over it, and might I say, this one is rather large. It's much bigger than a lot of other ones that I have built. And included are 2 metal sheets. Most of these only come with 1, but this one has 2. My guess is 1 for each side. Some of these are pre-cut, but this one from Hersheypark, you do have to cut them out yourself. There is a little warning telling you to use some nail clippers, and while the nail clippers do work, I do prefer the micro precision scissors, although I might be getting nail clippers later if I need it. And then finally, we have an instruction sheet, and this one is 2-sided, so again, much bigger than any of the nano coasters that I have built so far, so this one's going to be rather big. But I am looking forward to building it, and let's get started, shall we? Alright, here we are. This is the base. As you can tell, you can see the outline of the coaster, as well as these little holes where you're going to put the tabs in. And I've said this before, but this is rather large. I have both of my hands flat open, and it is pretty big. So hopefully it's not too confusing to build between both sides. But let's start looking at the instructions here. It looks like the first step is going to be, it looks like we're going to be doing this like once, I guess it won't be one side at a time, it's one section at a time. And it looks like we're going to start with coming out of the station going into the lift hill. So, without further ado, let's begin building the Lightning Racer Nanocoaster. Okay, so I got the first piece in, and before I had to cut it out, I had to make sure on which side to put it on, and I determined that by looking at a relatively flat piece of track, which is this coming out of the station, and then trying to see the number of little pegs to go into the holes, because on the other side it's a different amount and in a different order. Once I got that out, I did get myself some nail clippers. I don't know why I always start out with these, but they actually are a good help of getting off the excess metal of the little tabs. I still recommend using the scissors to cut it out of the metal sheet, but using the nail clippers to really fine-tune it. I carefully wiggled it out to try not to bend it, and that is pretty time-consuming, but it's pretty easy with practice. And then this first piece was pretty easy. With that out of the way, let's continue building. It looks like next is actually going to be the end of the ride for this one side of the track. Alright, here we are, and so far I have only put 3 pieces in, and I am following the instructions step by step. And you just have to be really careful because I had to already open up the second sheet, and all these pieces are on the same side of the track. You have to be real careful. You have to make sure all the tabs line up before you start cutting it off, for they are not in order. So it's definitely something to look after. But once you get the pieces off and you know which one is the correct one to go in, it is pretty easy to bend and put it in. The wooden coasters are typically easier because it's a whole frame that you can bend and manipulate, as opposed to the steel coasters where they are individual supports. So let's keep building, shall we? Sorry about that. I had to put a new SD card in, and apparently it was corrupted, and I don't think that portion got filmed. But I did get another portion done, and I'm about halfway complete. This took me just a little over an hour, and if this was any other Nanocoaster, I would be done by now. But because this is a dual-track coaster, it's going to most likely take twice as long, so about 2 hours. Not that I'm complaining. So far, this actually is a really fun build, how both sides are interacting. It is a bit of a challenge, but in a good way. So far, I have the conclusion, the brake run, station, and leading into the lift hill on one side. And then on both sides, I have this far turnaround that goes into the tunnel, and then this parallel racing portion. So it looks like next, I will be building this mid-course turnaround here. So hopefully there's no more delays. Alright, so far we have most of Lightning Racer complete. Might I say, this looks really cool so far. And again, it is pretty fun to build. So all we have left to do is to build both lift hills and the second hill leading into it, as well as the station, and we should be done with the Nanocoaster. This is definitely taking me longer than most nano coasters, but for good reason. Not that this is super hard, it's just that there is more of it. So let's finish building, shall we? And just like that, the Lightning Racer Nanocoaster is now complete. And might I just say, this looks really awesome. I mean, what's better than one GCI but two GCIs? And I love how the pieces just intertwine with one another just like they do in real life. And one thing I will say about this model is that it was, I would say, like on a moderate level. It wasn't really too difficult. It was just more so time consuming. I got this done in just a little under 2.5 hours. But again, the reason it was so long is because, well, it's so big and it's 2 coasters. And it looks really, really good. One notable thing too is that there are 2 different station pieces, while in real life it's just one big station piece, but every single station piece for all the nano coasters are the same. So that was expected. So here's another look at it. I really like this. This actually might be my favorite nano coaster that I have built so far. This is really, really cool. I got this from Hersheypark directly, and I believe that is the only place you can get it. I'm not sure if you can order it online or not, but you can get it at Hersheypark along with all of their other nano coasters. And I highly recommend this one. Make sure you dedicate more time than usual to build this specific one, just because it is bigger and has 2 tracks. And one other thing, there's a main reason why I built this nano coaster today. And it's because I'm going to announce to you guys that I am going to CoasterCon in just a couple of weeks. And CoasterCon is going to be taking place at Hersheypark, as well as Dutch Wonderland, Dorney Park, and Knoebels. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm really looking forward to riding the real Lightning Racer, but for now this model will do just fine. Anyways guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, subscribe for more content. I have a whole bunch of videos like this with building models, as well as theme park vlogs, videos, and retro videos as well. And thank you all for riding, and I'll see you next time.